Well, what's going on, party people? My name is Mitchell Renz. You're watching the Raiders Report, and coming up here live on today's show, we're going to get into the big news and storylines heading into Week 9 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Raiders had their bye week. I think what good organizations and good teams do, they make adjustments, and they prove that they actually use the bye week to learn and to get better. That's what I'm hoping that we end up seeing, and I know I'm not the only one. Also, because the NFL trade deadline is literally 24 hours from literally right now. 24 hours from right now. Excuse me. A week from right now. I'm an idiot. A week from right now, that's when the trade deadline is. Yes, 7 days. Idiot. I know. Well, I was like, it's exactly 4 p.m. Eastern time right now. But in a week from right now, we're going to be sitting here going, all right, the NFL trade deadline is over. It's already a done deal. So we are going to keep on talking about trade rumors because the Raiders are going to be a team linked to a lot of rumors. I'm going to talk about the latest going on around Jacoby Myers again. There's been a few players that have been brought up in other NFL circles, and I'll kind of just talk about maybe the Raiders could target certain players. And then I'm going to give you a segment. You could call me crazy. You could call me clinically insane because I'm going to call myself crazy. I'm going to call myself clinically insane, and you're going to find out why I am saying all that. And then at the very end of today's show, if you want a chance to win a little bit of money, $20 Venmo to get in our duck race. Yesterday, we gave away quite a bit of money. I actually think that Soulja Man ended up winning everything. He won my Monday Night Football duck race, and he won our Game 3 World Series coverage duck race as well. So if you're as lucky as Soulja Man, good luck to you out there. My question that is the live poll, and the first question that I'm going to ask all of you today, so please let me know down below. Give me a yes or give me a no. Should Tyler Lockett start this week for the Raiders? He was signed to the team on Monday, officially. He practiced yesterday. He's repping number 17. So if you got a 17 Raider jersey out there, just slap Lockett on the bad boy, and I think we're ready to rock and roll. The problem here is, though, does he know the offense? I know he's got chemistry with Geno Smith. Is he better than somebody along the lines of a Dante Thornton? Is he better than somebody along the lines of a Jack Besh? Because I would anticipate if Jacoby Myers is healthy, he's going to play. We'll see. Brock Bowers, hopefully, fingers crossed, he's able to go out there and play. What does that mean for Trey Tucker? I still think Trey Tucker's a better option. But Tyler Lockett, should he start this week? Give me a yes. Give me a no. I'm seeing a lot of yeses down below. I see one coming in from Jokes702, which I learned was Hernandez. I believe Juan Hernandez changed his name. Victor Lobos says yes. I see my man Joe Lopez going to go with a yes. Preston Rodriguez, nope. Mr. Sir Dre, yes. Shab, yes. Cone Luther, 81 is going to go with a yes. My job here at the Raiders Report and at Chat Sports is I like to ask questions. I like the interaction. If me asking a question about anything upsets you, personally, I'll just be real. I think you guys should find a different show. I like to do a two-way street. I want to know what you guys have to say. And the way that we do that here is when you use hashtag Raiders. When you super chat, you're able to get those questions, comments up here on the screen, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. Because we are getting closer and closer to the end of October, and for those of you that do not know, when October is over, I was thinking about doing the jersey giveaway on Thursday Night Football, but we already have a Thursday Night Football giveaway that I think a lot of people are going to like. So the jersey that I have been talking about all month, this signed jersey giveaway, we will be giving that away Week 9 against the Jags on Sunday. And since we're giving this jersey away, I want y'all to have extra opportunities to get some extra raffle tickets, if you will. Every 50 likes today, if you guys are down, I'm down to play a little trick or treat. $5 super chat, you're going to get a raffle ticket. $10 super chat is 3 raffle tickets. $20 Venmo, duck race. And if you throw in a hundo, it is a bang and 50 tickets. Those are the simple deals that we're rolling out here today on the Raiders Report. Though, the trick or treat, is it the same that we did before? Do you have a new wheel, or you just want to give away a raffle?
Oh, no, that's supposed to be a raffle ticket.
I was going to say, I don't remember making any trick-or-treat deals, so we're going to give away some free raffle tickets.
That's why it says free on there.
No, you're okay.
I just forgot to change that.
I didn't remember. I was like, I don't remember what Chugs and I had put. But to the 405 people, we've already hit 93 likes. If we get 7 more likes, we're going to give away 2 more free raffle entries in there. And if you want a chance to win a Raiders jersey, give me some Raiders comments down below, because that's the only way I'm going to know whether or not you're subscribed. And the only way that I'm going to give you a jersey is if you're subscribed to the Raiders Report. We are in sub-only mode. Brian Riley, Facebook says they gave Jacoby Myers a deal. True or false? I'll just say this. If I don't talk about it, it hasn't happened. I'm not saying that everything that I say up here is news, but if Jacoby Myers got a brand new deal, I would have already made a video about it. Jacoby Myers has not gotten a brand new deal. Facebook also is probably the worst place on the planet outside of Reddit to get any information in today's day and age. But again, the reason why I want people to hit that subscribe button, we're always going to have different opinions, but when actual Raiders news happens, I promise you, I will make a video around it. Let's go to King Shab. What up, King Shab? Chugs, can you please change your name back to our YouTube channel name, not to the @ symbol, please, because my name is King Shab Sedano. I wish we could.
It's not me. YouTube is rolling out all these new features.
And I'll be real. I think whoever's rolling them out has ever been live a day in their life on YouTube. We've reached out to our YouTube reps. We've told them some of our frustrations because a lot of the new things that YouTube's rolled out, it's whoever decided to do it has never been live on YouTube. And I wish it didn't look like this. I don't know why it does look like this, but they've switched out even a lot of things on the back end for live shows that make it very confusing for us.
Even for the creator side, the YouTube studio creator side sucks.
It's bad.
Whoever did it should get fired.
No,
and
I'm not kidding. They should.
I'm a big, pro job guy. But whoever did this for YouTube, you deserve to get fired.
I completely agree. I think what Chip Kelly has done for this offense is equally as good as whoever decided to come up with this new YouTube studio look.
Maybe it was Chip Kelly.
It might have been Kettle. It might have been Kettle Kelly. Let's go to It's Mikey. Trey Tucker stock up or stock down after this Tyler Lockett signing? Oh, man. I mean, from a fantasy football perspective, I think it's stock down because Tyler Lockett's got that connection with Geno Smith. Geno has that chemistry already, obviously, with Lockett. And to me, they went out and made that move for a reason. Whether that Geno wanted it, whether Chip wanted it, whether Pete wanted it, they went out and they made that move for a reason. Now, long-term stock, I still think that Trey Tucker's long-term stock is going up. And I think the addition of a Tyler Lockett helps that Trey Tucker stock go up. Because if there's one thing that we've seen, Tucker has taken that next step. He's gotten better. You can see it's clicking a little bit more in his head that third year. But one of the reasons why I wanted the Raiders to go out this offseason and get Tyler Lockett, and that's kind of the big problem, the whole Lockett conversation, it's if you would have went out and signed Lockett in March, April, May, June, July, August, I would like to move a lot more. But because you did it when you did it, it's just a little bit confusing. But one of the reasons why I wanted the Raiders originally to go out and get Lockett is because I said, imagine if Lockett could be that bridge quarterback is the word that gets used a lot when you're talking about quarterback to quarterback. I'm not saying bridge wide receiver because Tucker still would have played, but having a smaller-ish talented receiver like Lockett to just help out Trey Tucker, maybe learn some of the ins and outs of what it's going to take to be a really good receiver in the NFL for a long time. And I think Tucker could have learned quite a bit from that. But when you look at the advanced analytics, when you look at a lot of the numbers, Trey Tucker's a hell of a receiver. And if we had a quarterback that was good, and if we had an offensive coordinator that was intelligent, it would be really special what we could see him end up doing. Now, today's live show, to everybody that's tuned in right now, is presented by Panda Sups. They got 2 new products that they want me to tell you all about. And to me, this is the time of the year where I'm not going to lie to y'all. I put some weight on, right? We have a lot of beers on this show. I have a lot of late nights. My eating habits maybe aren't the best. But with Panda Sups, when I can get my nice protein shake late at night, because I have that sweet tooth, man. Last night, I was covering the World Series. Shout out to all y'all that tuned in on our main YouTube channel and hung out with me, Jack, Jeremy, and the whole crew over there for all 18 innings. I got home last night, and I was hungry. Instead of me eating an entire dinner, I took a protein scoop from Panda Sups, and I made a nice little protein shake out of it, and I passed the F out. Now, sometimes also when I do live shows, mainly after a Raiders game, I don't feel really like that after Thursday Night Football or Monday Night Football. But after a Raiders game, my just emotions are going crazy. My head is spinning, and I just have so much on my mind. And sometimes it's actually really hard for me to turn my mind off to go to sleep. If you have those problems as well, then they got 3 fresh flavors for Panda Sups. They got citrus mango, green apple, and mixed berry for their Sleepy 3.0. If you're somebody that has a hard time falling asleep, take a scoop of the Sleepy. You're going to get one of the best nights of rest that you've ever had. And I thought about taking Sleepy last night before I went to bed. I actually really didn't need it. I was exhausted. But there are a lot of nights. And if you're somebody that works a lot of hours and you know the importance of having a good night's rest, Panda Sups is going to be here to help you out. It's code Raiders, 25% off at pandasups.com. Let's go to another question here. And Chugs, if you want to weigh in on this one, how many trades, if any, will the Raiders make this week? Final week of the deadline. I mean, if we were talking Prize Picks, not a sponsor today, but Prize Picks is always going to get love here on this channel, it would be 0.5 more or less. No?
I'd have to say more.
Okay.
Because I could actually see, weirdly enough, and I know when it happens, if it does happen, Raider Nation's going to be pissed off. But I could see the Raiders not being a buyer, but being a buy low candidate for a guy that, you know, a team may be out on, maybe Pete Carroll or somebody has some sort of connection to somebody, and they're like, oh, you know what? Like, we'll give you a 6th-round pick for this guy.
I don't disagree. I think a lot of times when we talk about trades, you know, what the trades that get talked about are the big-time players, right? The guys that got the big name value.
Breece Hall, Jacoby Myers.
The way that the Raiders have operated this entire season, they haven't operated as a team that's looking for the big name. They're a team that's kind of bottom feeding a little bit. They're penny pitching a little bit. They haven't gone out and made that big-time splash. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't really know. Because I am sitting up here talking about trades all the time, I still feel in my heart of hearts that one trade will be made, and I do think that deadlines make deals, and maybe it's not a deadline to get done for the Raiders, but you know, maybe there's other teams out there that lost in Week 8 that could lose in Week 9, and when you lose in Week 9, you could get desperate, and because of that, I know that there are so many teams out there looking at Jacoby Myers. And I know the Raiders were sniffing around at corner, sniffing around a little bit at the defensive line. But I want to know from you, how many trades, if any, will the Raiders make this week? 0, 1, 2. Dwayne's going to go with 2. Stabler for President says 0. I'm going to go ahead and say 1 trade. Let's go to Michael Hyde, a Seahawks fan. And this is kind of interesting. What is JPJ's fair trade value? Could we see a trade where Seattle gives up Tariq Woolen and a pick for JPJ? I know that you're a Seahawks fan, and I'll say this. I appreciate the fact that you're tuning into the show. If you don't know Will Ortner, he's our new host over at Seahawks Today, and he's one of the most, I literally think he's one of the most informative Seahawks people that I've ever talked to. And he keeps telling me, hey, like JPJ to Seattle makes a lot of sense. And I know a lot of Seahawks fans love Jackson Powers-Johnson because of all the good that he did over there with Oregon. He was the Remington Award winner for a reason because he's arguably the best center, and he's not playing center. I would say this. The Raider fan in me, I would look at you and I would say, if I was the person calling the shots for the Raiders, I would want a 2nd-round pick for JPJ, but that's because I value Jackson Powers-Johnson, and I value everything he represents as a football player, and I love everything that he represents as a center. The problem is, I don't know why this Raiders organization doesn't like JPJ, you know, and I actually think if you offered them a 4th-round pick, that would be enough to get the ball at least started and rolling. I would say for you, and this has been a trade that I've talked about before, Tariq Woolen and a 4th, maybe a 5th-round pick for Jackson Powers-Johnson. That, to me, is not worth it. I like Tariq Woolen. I like draft capital, but JPJ, to me, is the 2nd-best offensive lineman that we have on this team. So if you'd be down to do a 4th and Tariq Woolen for JPJ, I do think that this Raiders organization would say yes to it. But that would be a win for you. I actually don't think that's a win for the Raiders. Let's go to Jeff. What's up, Jeff? How long do you think Chip Kelly realistically lasts? I know Mark values the players' opinions maybe a little too much. If he's gone, who does this regime like? One of the shows that I will do and it's not going to be this week because we're going to talk trade rumors, and it's not going to be next week because of the quick turnaround, I will start bringing up Chip Kelly replacements after that Week 10 game against the Denver Broncos Thursday Night Football, because then you're going to have, it's what, like 10, 11 days to get ready for Monday Night Football up against the Dallas Cowboys. And truly, if the Raiders are going to make any changes like this drastic, it would be then. They wouldn't do it as quickly as that turnaround. It would be right before that Monday Night Football.
How many years was his contract?
I actually don't know. I actually don't know the exact years on the Chip Kelly contract. The only thing that I know is he's the highest paid OC in the National Football League with $6 million. Again, man, like I'm not going to sit up here and act like I talked to a bunch of guys. I talked to certain players on that team, and I think people that know me and follow me enough probably can guess who some of those guys are. But I keep hearing that Chip Kelly is not a very well-liked guy in that locker room. Winning can cure all, and if the Raiders can come out and shock the world and they can win that game up against Jacksonville, maybe win that game against Denver, it is going to solve a lot. In terms of your OC replacements, though, I will do an entire show on it, and I'll probably break down my top 10 best for that. The other issue here, though, is Chip Kelly is somebody that's been on Mark Davis's radar for a while, and I don't know how many people remember last November when I started talking about, like, hey, man, I'm hearing Chip Kelly's name come up. Now, I'll be real. I was hearing Chip Kelly's name being brought up as a head coach candidate, and when he got hired as OC, they hire, Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll got 3-4-year option. I wouldn't be shocked if Chip Kelly had something similar like that, because I do think that their ultimate plan was when Pete Carroll leaves, if this is a well-oiled machine, you just hire Chip Kelly to take over as that head coaching role, because it's an easier transition from him to go to OC to head coach, and then Greg Olsen could potentially go from quarterback coach, move up to OC. I have seen Chip Kelly scheme for 7 games, and he's been a disaster. He's been worse than Luke Getsy. He's been worse than Bo Hardigree. He's been worse than Mick Lombardi. He's been worse than Josh McDaniels. For the highest paid OC to be this bad, if it was up to me, the number one move that I would do for the Raiders if you lose Week 9 and Week 10, it's moving on from Chip Kelly. And it's honestly like that's how bad he's been. Let's go to my brother from another Rebel. Chugs went home and Dodgers won, which is a sign.
You're welcome.
I'll say I can make the argument it was my Dodgers rally cap. I think my Dodgers rally cap might have been a little of the mojo, Rebel. What an unbelievable game.
I left in the 16th inning, and I was like, this might go 20.
Oh, I don't blame you. Like the amount of times yesterday, again, I messaged my wife, it was like 10:49, 10:54, something like that. And I was like, hey, honey, we're going into the 8th inning here. I'll be home soon. I actually think I got home like right around 3 a.m. last night. Shout out to Jack. He drove me home, took me home. But, like, dude, it was 2 different games. It was the first 9 innings is arguably the greatest 9 innings of World Series baseball I've ever seen. And then the next 9 is a totally different game. But the storylines around all the pitching, Freddie Freeman walk-off, I think the Dodgers now are no doubt going to win the World Series after that game. Where have we seen this before? Let's go to Nick Sanchez. Also, if there's anybody out there that is a Dodgers fan, anybody out there that wants to watch the World Series, my guy Jack Lotteray will be live again tonight for Game 4 of the World Series.
Can you bring Marshall in here to read this one?
Marshall?
Is Marshall out there?
He's talking to, I think Trace is out there. I swear if you would have told me that the Raiders and Ravens would have had the same record, I would have hyped as F. Also, Jalen Hurts did fumble it. Oh, I'm with you. I mean, I said this yesterday, or not yesterday. I said this on our Sunday Red Zone stream. The reason why the NFL is going to ban the tush push this offseason, the number one play that they're going to show, and all NFL teams that want it banned, the number one play that they're going to show is that Eagles tush push because it was absolutely a fumble.
We have Marshall Green in here. Can you give us 2 seconds your thoughts on this?
Yeah, again, man, like I have been a proponent of, if you can't, like, you got to find ways to stop the tush push. And, I was very, very much against NFL teams trying to ban a play that they couldn't stop. but it's just so clear that the tush push is made only for the Philadelphia Eagles' success and only their success.
Rebel messaging, come here, Marsh. Marsh, come here.
Rebel, clickbait.
Our Nick Sanchez, if you want to see something funny, go to our Giants live stream from that Eagles game on Sunday and go to the point where that tush push happened. You'll hear about 7 minutes of expletive content.
My question to you, should the tush push stay? Y for yes, N for no, because I see Richard down there says the tush push should stay. And I used to have that opinion, but I think at this point, the Eagles jump before every team does. I'd say at least 40 to 50% of the time, they false start on the tush push, never gets called. The Jalen Hurts quarterback sneak, why is he allowed to get 2 attempts to try to get the first down, but you can't make a second at 10 to stop him? They're calling it like forward progress as if it was the goal line, and I think that's because it's how the play originally started. You know, there's 4th down and 1. It was a lot of goal line stuff. It's just clearly not officiated well.
Azul says, yes, as long as it beats the Chiefs.
If they can beat the Chiefs, I'm all on board.
What if I told you banning the tush push means the Eagles lose to the Chiefs?
It's a tough one. We'll visit that later. But I'm always somebody where I'm always honest with y'all, and I'm at the point where the tush push to me is clearly not a good football play, but that's because it's not officiated the right way. If it's officiated the right way, you can keep it going. But until that happens, I don't think it's a play that should be allowed. And I'm at that point now. Let's go to Wrong Way. What's up, Wrong Way? Do we trust this team right now to draft a quarterback in the first round? Let's say we have a top 5 pick, or do you think that they're going defense? The problem is we have needs on so many positions, right? We have needs on defense. I can make an argument why we should take a defensive tackle, Christian Wilkins replacement. I can make an argument why we should take Caleb Downs, best safety in the country, and we have a lot of needs at safety. I can make an argument why we should draft a cornerback because Eric Stokes is on a 1-year deal. The Raiders aren't playing any of our young guys anyway, so maybe we need another young cornerback. From the offensive line standpoint, we could use an offensive lineman. From a wide receiver 1 standpoint, probably can make that argument, right? Like, the amount of different arguments that I could make of who our first-round pick should be, and if the Raiders taught me anything, they're probably going to go best player available. It's what they did with Ashton Genty, right? And if there's one thing that you can learn from this past year's draft, it's they went best player available in round 1, who was Ashton Genty for their personal opinion. So I think that that's kind of the route that they could go. But if there's one thing that this organization has not done, because we keep on hiring and firing guys left and right, but if there's one thing we haven't actually tried, it's going with that young quarterback in the first round. And, you know, we've gone bridge guys. We've brought in old head coaches that have just brought in their old guys. And I'm kind of done with that mentality. I think if you have the opportunity to draft a quarterback in round 1, depending who it is, if Mendoza is staring at you in the eyes, I think that I would take Mendoza in round 1. Now, again, I still got to watch more tape, and I'm going to watch a lot more tape on these players. But it would be really, really hard for me to sit up there on draft night and you have Mendoza staring at you in the first round. And if Geno Smith, let's say Geno just keeps playing the way Geno's playing, I'm going to sit there all offseason and go, we don't have a quarterback. We need a quarterback. It's really hard to win in the NFL when you don't have a quarterback. It's really hard to win in the NFL when you don't have a plan of your future. And right now, I don't know what the Raiders' plan is for the future because we don't have a quarterback. Let's go to Alex Gonzalez. What's up, Alex? Can we fire Kettle and hire Mitch for OC, please? You don't want me as OC. I promise you. Like, I'm always I am. Dude, like, I will always be honest with y'all. I do not know X's and O's nearly well enough to be able to coach up players. Like, I can dissect which players I think would fit really well with the Raiders. I can dissect which players, can play certain spots. But that's because I watch film on those players. Like, I know our current Raiders players. To be able to teach it is totally different. You know what I mean? Like, just because I can do basic math doesn't mean that I should teach math. And, when I sit up there and I talk a lot about our World Series watch parties, I realize at times how much I know about, we'll call it the X's and O's of baseball, but I don't actually know a lot of the baseball players. Where on the football side, I think I know what players do well, strengths and weaknesses, how that fits with the silver and black. You don't want me as OC. If the Raiders honestly were serious about hiring me for a position of any sort, it should be some sort of an analyst of, hey, where do you think that we can get better here? Which players do you think we should go out and get? I mean, if the Raiders actually wanted to make money from their media team, they would hire Chugs and I. They would get rid of everybody else, and we would make, I'm not kidding you, 10 to 100 times the amount of money that current YouTube channel already makes for them. And I don't even think it's close. They could fire every single media member they have. Chugs and I could do that job. Roy Raider, what up, man? When is SpyTech going to run this team?
There is a big announcement coming later today, so maybe they are hiring somebody else.
I feel like this team is Pete Carroll's. None of these draft picks besides the wide receivers are out there. I tweeted this exact same statement, Roy, so I think great minds think alike. I am not going to sit up here and say that SpyTech isn't doing anything, but again, I can only go off of what I was told, and I'm the type of person where, Roy, you and I, maybe we've met, maybe we haven't. Roy, I'm going to believe everything that you tell me. I'm going to believe in everything that you say until you give me a reason not to, and that's just how I operate. I am from a small town, middle of nowhere. Shout out to the 570. And maybe that's kind of a guilty part on me. Like, I always think the best of people. I will always believe somebody until they give me a reason not to. And, I was told what the plan was supposed to be for the Raiders this offseason. I was told what, SpyTech wanted to do. And SpyTech this team looks nothing like what I was told. And I know I've said that probably 100 times on this show over the course of the past month or two, but that's the truth. And I think the Tyler Lockett signing is just another example that Pete Carroll is the one calling the shots. And, we get mad at Mark Davis a lot. I think Mark Davis needs to do a better job here as being an owner. And I think Mark needs to sit down John and needs to sit down Pete, and he needs to say, what are we doing here, fellas? Because clearly this was supposed to be a marriage, right? It's supposed to be you guys coming together and figuring out what's the best for the Raiders. And maybe it's a SpyTech problem, right? Like, maybe SpyTech doesn't have the balls to stand up and talk to Pete Carroll and say his 2 cents, what he needs to say. And I hate saying it like that. But again, John, I think that he is such a smart football mind. And I will say that. John SpyTech is a very, very smart football mind. And yet the Raiders are doing so many dumb things. But when you really look at what the Raiders are doing, Pete Carroll's trying to rebuild what they built in Seattle. We're living in the past again. What the Raiders and Pete Carroll are doing is exactly what the Raiders and Josh McDaniels did. Just bring in all your old buddies. Let's try to recreate what we did a few years ago that worked instead of trying to move forward and look ahead of what's the next thing. We're just trying to retread. And that's what Mark Davis has just continuously done with all of his hires. And that's what this coaching staff is doing. What's up, PG? In my opinion, we need full rebuild. O-line, D-line, then quarterback. If that's your case, then you're trading away Max Crosby. The term full rebuild to me, and it's why I think it's a little bit of a slippery slope here with Raider Nation, full rebuild means you're trading Max Crosby because there's no player on your organization that will give you the amount of first-round picks and allow you to do a full rebuild like trading away Max. If you're like, we just need to do a rebuild, that's okay. But I want to be very clear. When I hear Raider Nation and Raiders fans say it's time for the Raiders to do a full rebuild, that tells me you want to trade away Max Crosby. Because where we are at right now, it doesn't make sense to not do a full rebuild and then keep Max. You could do a rebuild, and that's where I kind of am at. I'm kind of at, let's do the rebuild. Let's figure out ways to continue to build around Mad Max because he's the pillar. He's literally the face of your franchise, and Mark has made it very, very clear that he doesn't want to move on from him. But if an organization offered you 3 first-round picks...
Give me Mendoza.
If an organization offered you 3 first-round picks, you'd have to entertain it. But we do need offensive line help. I don't think they're going to try to replace Glaze. You got Colt Miller for another year. Hypothetically, you should have JPJ somewhere there in the interior. Drafted Caleb Rogers. You have Charles Grant. I think that this team is actually pretty set for their offensive line in their mind. I'm not saying that I'm set on it. I think in their mind, they're set on their offensive line. Defensive line DT needs to happen. Got to get a quarterback. But, we just have a lot of needs. We have a lot of needs on both sides of the football. What's up, Jason? Bring back Kiffin. Draft Chambliss.
Trinidad Chambliss has been
It's a great story. D2 player. Now he can move. He's super athletic. I want to watch more Ole Miss football because I find myself trying to tune in and watch that team from time to time. I think right now, though, there's a little bit of the Jackson Dart hype, and I think that's why Kiffin and Ole Miss offense is just getting a little bit more hype. It's because of how good Dart's looked.
Kiffin's attitude will not work in the NFL.
But also, why would Kiffin leave the NFL? Like, why would he leave Ole Miss to come to the Raiders? Like, again, like we're getting to a point with this NIL deals with, I mean, look at, LSU, they just fired Brian Kelly. $54 million buyout. James Franklin, $50 million buyout. You're telling me as a head football coach in college, where a head football coach in college gets way more notoriety and gets way more fame, way more star power than you do in the NFL, plus you get these crazy, crazy buyouts. I mean, for a guy like Kiffin in the SEC with that program, I think that that's a better job than the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, obviously, if the Raiders offered him a boatload of money, but then you're kind of going right back down. Like, to get a guy like Kiffin, you got to offer like a John Gruden type deal. It's got to be like 6, 7 years. You're not going to do 10 years again. 6, 7 years, and it's got to be fully guaranteed. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. What do you think about? Do you think Chambliss? Like, I don't know what I think about him. I have to watch more on him because
he's good. I think
the first half. What was the game? It was like a few weeks ago. It was against Georgia.
I think
was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
the first half he was unbelievable.
He's good.
Second half they figured him out.
But I don't know. I think Mendoza is a better prospect, and I also think the kid from Alabama, Simpson. I think those two guys are better prospects, in my opinion. Dante Moore, if he was able to come out, I think those three guys I would have a little bit ahead of him. But
what's his name? Sellers from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Big. Like, to me, if you were going to go more of like a mobile quarterback, again, I'm thinking about what the Raiders have. And if I were to build a Raiders offense in my mind with a mobile quarterback, I would want a guy like Sellers. And I would try to play this, again, FU brand style of football, put JPJ at center, build that offensive line with what you need, get that physical quarterback like a Sellers, and then you will allow him to play this, again, powerful, almost like a Philadelphia Eagles style of offense with Ashton Jeanty.
Is Jamarcus Russell the last quarterback the Raiders have taken in the first round?
I actually think he might be the only quarterback the Raiders have ever taken in the first round.
Like,
I might be wrong on that. I guess I'm talking recent history.
I was going to say, before that, I think they took Marinovich in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably been since the year 2000. I mean, he's definitely the only first-round quarterback.
Jamarcus Russell's the last quarterback they've taken in the first round, in my recent memory. Because Carr was a second-round pick.
The only other player that I'm thinking about here of when he got drafted, when did Terrell Pryor get drafted?
Well, he wasn't a first-round pick.
Yeah, he was third-round supplemental draft. Well, I was thinking like quarterback. Like I was like, because I remember he was a big deal coming out. Real big deal. Let's go to TJ. What's up, Potkinson? We needed to run the ball, hit short checkdowns, pick them apart. I don't care if it takes 10 minutes to score. Find a groove, make it shake. And that's my problem with Chip Kelly, right? I mean, think about the game plan going into Week 7. The game plan up against Kansas City is my biggest problem with Chip, and it's why we should call him Kettle, because he's cooked. You have no Brock Bowers. You have no Jacoby Myers. And whether it's the first 12 plays, whether it's the first 15, I've heard both. The scripted, whether it was first 12, first 15, one Ashton Jeanty run. And those are scripted plays. You know, it's like, it's not rocket science, I think, of what the Raiders should have tried to do. But for you to just so clearly do what is right to do, it's just another example why I'll keep saying, this Raiders coaching staff is showing me that they care about more about being right than what's doing, like than what's actually you're supposed to do. Like, I would rather me be right on JPJ not playing center. I would rather me be right on Geno Smith, being the quarterback of the future. I would rather like Kai Blue Kelly should continue to play over Darian Porter. Those are moves that coaching staffs do because they think that that's what's right. But after 7 weeks, you clearly see that it's not the best thing for this organization, and yet you just keep doing it. That's kind of the definition of insanity. It's kind of the definition of booming coach, like boomer coaches. Yeah, and that's what we have right now. We got coaches that remind me of a bunch of old men that are too stubborn to change. Blake, what's up, Blake? Appreciate you tuning in, man. Why are we not looking at adding to our offensive line? Colt Miller extension. You drafted Charles Grant in the third round. You drafted Caleb Rogers in the third round.
It's not that you didn't try. It's that you failed. You failed in getting any O-lineman worth a damn in this draft.
You tried to sign Alex Kappa. That was supposed to help you out. DJ Glaze, we got to give DJ Glaze a little bit of credit. I think he's gotten better and better. But, with Dylan Parham, he's going to hit the open market. He's gone. I would like to imagine we're going to keep Jordan Meredith. I'd like to imagine we're going to keep JPJ, DJ Glaze, Colton Miller. In my mind, going into next season, that's 4 starting offensive linemen that I think the Raiders are going to roll with. Colton Miller, Meredith, JPJ, DJ Glaze. It's about finding that other spot. And I think the player that they're going to try to figure out a way to find that other spot with is that left guard position. And whether you want to go with the Charles Grant or Caleb Rogers, I think Charles Grant is light years better of a prospect than what Caleb Rogers is. That's neither here nor there. But, then those 2 players could potentially fight out and battle for that left guard spot. I think that they're a lot more confident in their offensive line than what they should be. But again, this team's going to do what they want to do. My bad meant a rebuild. And I don't want you to say my bad. It's a lot of times more of me trying to communicate to all of y'all when I hear something, what I think of. And it's because when I talk about certain things, if you guys ever hear me go, hey, it's time to do a full rebuild, I want you to understand, the magnitude of me saying something like that. That's all. I'm sure, when you're talking to your wife or your significant other, right? If you're just like, hey, I'm going to take out the garbage. That also means that you're going to take out the garbage and put a new bag in. You know what I'm saying? You're not just taking out the garbage. Stabler for president. I said it from the start. I didn't want Pete Carroll because he would try to give us Seattle light. And to anybody that said that, you were right. And to me, I did not think that this was going to happen because I really did think that John Spytek was going to have a louder voice, and I was hoping that Spytek was going to, be able to speak his mind a little bit more. The problem, again, man, the problem right now is Pete Carroll and this coaching staff are living in the past. But that has been the Raiders' problem for the past, I don't even know how many years with their hiring cycle. The number one reason why the Raiders keep on failing is because they're too afraid to move forward and look for a new, young, innovative guy. I think Mark is just comfortable with certain people, and Mark is comfortable around people of his age, which is why the reason that these people keep getting hired. And when you hear a lot of the people that Mark is talking to, Tom, again, Tom probably has looked at Pete Carroll, but Tom Brady wanted Ben Johnson. Tom Brady wanted Mike Vrabel, and clearly that was the way to go. Just Barface, Patriot way, Seattle way. We just want the Raider way. I hear you loud and clear. What is the Raider way, though? The Raider way, commitment to excellence, that made sense in the 70s. It made sense in the 80s, it made sense when the Raiders were actually winning. The problem is we don't know what the Raider way is anymore because it's not commitment to excellence. It's not. There's nothing about what this organization has done. Since I have covered this show, there's nothing that this organization has done that shows commitment to excellence. If anything, it's the exact opposite. I think when you bring in a guy like McDaniels, unfortunately, when you bring in a guy like Pete Carroll, you're trying to find your way. And the problem is McDaniels try to do the Patriot way, try to do the Seattle way, living in the past. The way that we got to get our Raider way, bringing in a new, young, innovative mind to move in the right direction because that's what the Raider way needs to be. That's the way that a lot of teams are building teams right now. It's instead of doing what worked in the past, let's find a way to win in the future. OG, thoughts on Vanderbilt quarterback? Pavia is one of the best stories in all of college football right now. I think Vanderbilt is one of the best stories in all of college football. But, I'll keep saying it. I don't know if he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. I don't view him as an NFL quarterback prospect. Can he prove me wrong? Yeah. Absolutely. Quarterbacks, it's a lot of times what's the fit. He's a competitor. He's a tough mother effer. He kind of, though, reminds me of a Timu Dollar General right-handed Tim Tebow, where Tim Tebow obviously was this unbelievable college quarterback, and he was a great leader, one of the greatest leaders to ever play. I think he's actually probably the greatest leader to ever play college football. Pavia's kind of got that same thing where when you really look at the talent, you're like, I don't see NFL talent. What I see is a great football player, a great leader. But when you have the head coach, when you have a player, and they are building this team like that Vanderbilt way, they have an identity. And Pavia fits that identity great. So, like, do I think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback? No. But man, oh man, is he fun to watch in college football. And I'll say this, Pavia, if you ever watch this video, I hope you prove me wrong because I'm going to be rooting my you-know-what off for that guy. Rockets, Tyler Lockett, pockets, got no guard.
You just didn't even read the emojis.
Rockets, Tyler Lockett, pizza pockets, Rockets, got no guard. Oh, okay. How are the Rockets doing this year?
1-2.
So they won the first game you covered them?
Nope.
Oh, I thought they did. Oh, no, it's the
They
Thunder
lost
game.
in double OT.
That was the Thunder
On
game.
a BS call that
I don't even
NBA
remember the
soft.
game. I don't even remember the game.
It's okay. We're going to trade for a guard, Rich Wolf, but I did hear, Rich Wolf, there's a little trouble in paradise. Jimmy Buckets and Steph not getting along. Who could have saw that coming, Rich Wolf?
What up, Jeff? I don't think they failed in drafting O-line. O-line take 3 years to develop usually. Not fair to judge so quickly.
Not when you draft them in the first 2-3 rounds.
I hear what you're saying, and I actually don't disagree with what you're saying. It takes some time, usually for offensive linemen to develop a little bit. But at the same time, though, what should the plan be? Like, I think when you look at the Raiders' offensive line, I think the way that they've handled the O-line has been a failure this season. And
I mean, Jeff, you say it takes 3 years to develop this, that, and the other. Okay. I mean, how come other teams have rookies that are showing out and doing well? Name one rookie that's playing well for the Raiders. You can't. There's not one rookie that this Raiders team selected this year that you're like.
Genty, when given opportunities, has played well. When Genty's been given opportunities, Genty's played well.
But
outside of that, though,
but not where he got drafted. He hasn't been top 10 level good.
But that's because of the O-line and the team he's on. To me, I don't put Genty in this conversation, but all the other rookies, Jack Besh, Darian Porter hasn't even gotten a chance. Like Dante Thornton hasn't even gotten a chance, right? Like
Caleb Rogers,
Charles Grant haven't even really gotten a chance. I mean, Rogers literally hasn't even played a snap.
Everybody you drafted on day 3 isn't even on the team.
Like my problem is if the plan was to rebuild and if the plan was to build for the future, you should play a lot of those younger players, right? Like Stone Forsythe has done good, but don't you think if we're trying to build for the future, you play Charles Grant over Stone Forsythe? Maybe it's smarter to play Caleb Rogers over Alex Kappa. It's just we should be doing things to build chemistry with our young offensive line because it does take time to develop. But I think putting JPJ out there with the Caleb Rogers, with the Charles Grant, and just do things that make sense. Because the Raiders aren't doing things that make sense, in my book at least. In my book. Kappa's a bum from Hillbilly.
And stay solid.
I agree, man.
I feel you on that, but also I feel like you can't say Genty's a top 10 running back yet. He's not.
I think from a talent standpoint, he clearly is, but from a number standpoint, no, he's not.
If ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a great Christmas. But, I mean, you can't grade it off of hypotheticals. You can't grade it off of, if Genty did do this, then he'd be a top 10. Just based on what's on the field, he's not a top 10 running back right now.
See, I disagree with that. I think the eyes clearly show you from a talent standpoint, he's top 10. It's just he just can't – the numbers don't prove it. And I think
the play doesn't prove it. I don't think Genty this year is potential wise, yes. But right now in the NFL, I don't think he's a top 10 back.
Okay. I mean, you're allowed that. I disagree. Let's go to Benjamin Jarvis. Gino, imagine, brother. This is so unrealistic. I feel like we got a better chance of aliens dropping down onto this show right now and taking us all the way to another planet. There's nothing I would love more than for this to happen. I'll tell you that right now. And I think every Raider fan, would love for this to happen. And if you're a fan, you're like, nah, I would not like that. You're an idiot.
I will say, if you're going to say Genty's a top 10 back because of the O-line, Gino's a top 10 quarterback, but he's behind this O-line. That's the same logic.
It's not even close to the same logic. And again, Gino hasn't played like a top 10 quarterback. When you look at a lot of the numbers, Genty has played like a top 10 running back.
I mean, look at before this season. You were saying Gino could be a top 10 quarterback.
I know. I thought he could have been. And I wish that he would have been.
But, I mean, if you're going to use the O-line as an excuse for Genty, why can't that be an excuse for Gino? They're behind the same O-line.
I know, but Genty has played well. I mean, he has. Like, he's played well. I think from a talent standpoint, Genti has proved that he's a top 10 back.
I don't think yet.
Okay. Drew, you think Geno makes Chip look bad, or is Chip just trash? It's both. I mean, it's both of them. Like, Geno makes Chip Kelly look bad, but Chip Kelly's also making Geno Smith look really bad. I mean, it's a really bad, it's a bad and unhealthy marriage, right? Like, if I'm thinking about it from, like, my wife's standpoint, like Alex and I, if I was a bad husband and if Alex was a bad wife, it's a bad marriage. And, like, that's what the Raiders are dealing with right now. It's just such a bad marriage between both of them, because I don't know if it's like Chip thinks that his shit don't stink, Geno's just being a little bit too much of a knucklehead. Like, I don't know what the reason is, but it's clear. Geno has never played this bad, and I can't remember. Chip Kelly's offense looks like the Chip Kelly offense that was figured out 10 years ago, and I'm not saying it's a similar style of offense. It's just people figured him out, and Chip wasn't good enough to make adjustments, and he's made no adjustments this entire season, and that's a really, really big problem. Like, coaching staffs need to make adjustments. They need to make adjustments, and this is a staff that has proven that they don't think that they do. And that's scary, man. I mean, it is senile almost. And it's concerning because you got a bunch of old heads that don't think they're doing anything wrong. You know, it's if you were to ask a 90-year-old person that lived 90 years ago, would you want life to be the way that it was 90 years ago? You know, you wouldn't want that. I hope not. Like, at least I wouldn't. Sir Chai, quick take. R.I.P. Carroll Davis, sign Shiloh Sanders. R.I.P. to Carroll. Yeah, I mean, it was very, very sad on Sunday. I'll keep saying this, though. At least she gets to rejoin Al and be with him. From a Shiloh Sanders standpoint, I made a video on this technically Sunday. It went out this morning. I'll say I was very disappointed with a lot of the comments that I saw on that show, because I hate this, and I mean this when I say this. Just because I'll say I don't think it makes any sense for the Raiders to sign Shiloh Sanders, and let's be honest with ourselves, Shiloh's just clearly not good enough to play in the NFL. There's not a single safety that he's better on, even on this Raiders team, right? Like, there's not a single corner, there's not a single safety, and that's not me being anything. But one thing I do not like, just because I have an opinion on Shiloh doesn't make me a racist. And was really, really, really disappointed from Raider Nation. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Really disappointed in a lot of the comments that I saw today on the video that I dropped, because race has nothing to do with why I don't think Shiloh Sanders is good, and it has nothing to do with anything, but it's the argument that always gets brought up, and I kind of get sick and tired of hearing about it. But in terms of going out and signing Shiloh, like, he's not better than any player that we have on this team. It would be a disaster in the locker room. And the other reason why they're not going to do it is because people are going to talk about Shador. People are going to talk about outside noise, and that's not what this Raiders organization wants. Stabler for president. The Raider way was when we were in Oakland. Good, hard-nosed, lunch bucket, blue-collar, take-no-crap football. Some examples. Otto, Davidson, Atkinson, Tatum. Again, though, we're living in the past. You know what I mean? Like, you can't play this brand of football anymore. You can't. And that's... You literally can't. You can't play the old school brand of football that the Raiders used to play, because there's just going to be flags galore. Players are going to get suspended. So, like, you can't do this. And I want the Raiders to play hard-nosed, lunch bucket, blue-collar, take-no-crap football. I call it FU brand of football. But to me, the Raiders don't want to play that brand, because you have somebody in Jackson Powers Johnson that is literally the definition of everything that you just stated. And the Raiders don't use them the way that they should. So, like, I thought that this was going to be the brand of football John Spytek was going to employ. And unfortunately, we're playing the whatever Pete Carroll wants to do type of football. What's up, TJ? Completed passes, gain yards on runs equals confidence. Takes the players we have miles downfield. I want to see Hart agree or disagree. The first thing that I'm going to talk about on my first segment that I do today, which we are all caught up on our super chats, and I want to get into that very, very first segment. It's going to be around the very first thing I want to see this week. Did the team show up? Are they playing with heart? Because this is a team that quit on this coaching staff in Week 7. This is a team that has looked, arguably, they're the second worst team in the NFL behind the Tennessee Titans. And I don't know how you say otherwise, right? Like, I think the Raiders are the second worst team in the NFL behind only the Titans. I think the Jets are better. I think the Saints are better. I'm trying to think of other really bad teams. I think they're all better. And it's because they can at least show you that they're making adjustments, that those teams are still playing for them. I want to see a Raiders team that shows me heart. I want to see a coaching staff that can prove that, you know what, we can make adjustments. We can fire up these guys. I don't know if that's going to happen. Only time's going to tell. And we're going to find out this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So coming up here on the show, we're going to get into some of the big storylines heading into Week 9 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. As soon as that show is over, then we're going to get in, answer some questions. I'll get into some trade rumors, and then I got a segment. You can call me crazy if you want. Quite frankly, I'd rather you call me crazy. But I'm feeling crazy, and I'll tell you why I'm feeling a little bit crazy. I haven't looked at my phone since I told y'all about this, but hang on a second. Sorry, I just got a text message from Alex. I was trying to read it. Venmo, I'm looking right now, $20 Venmo, Mitchell Renz 365. I see as it stands, looks like we got a few people in. I see Will Pepper. That looks like a very new name, Will Pepper. Will Pepper, I see you. No surprise, Soulja Man is in. And then I see Victor Lobos, you, sir, are also in. So to the super chat that we just got from Alex, what we're going to do is we're going to get to that after the first segment. We'll talk about it here. We'll keep on answering some of those questions, some of those super chats. But I do have 3 segments that I got to get through today. And in terms of when this show's got to end, I do have to be done today by 5:30 my time. That's only because I got to be able to take out Chuck. Alex has some stuff going on a little bit later on. So I got to be done today in technically like 90-ish to 100 minutes from now. Cool? Sound good? Coming up, let's get into the news and storylines heading in to Week 9. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's program presented by Panda Sups, we got the Raiders news and storylines heading into NFL Week 9 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you do not know, use code Raiders for 25% off to be able to get the best workout supplements on the market from Panda Sups. Let's go to the very first storyline that I am looking for as a Raiders fan, and this isn't going to be one that I think the national media talks about. I don't think it's going to be one that a lot of people outside of Raider Nation talk about. I want to see a team that shows me heart. I want to see a team that still believes in themselves. I want to see a team that shows me that you can make proper adjustments from a player and coaching standpoint, because what I have seen from this Las Vegas Raiders team over the past 3 weeks is a team that doesn't give a shit. It's a football team that has given up on a coaching staff. It's a football team that honestly looks completely lost, like I haven't never seen a Raiders team lost before. I spoke with a lot of people over the weekend, and I've been saying this coaching staff right now, where Raider Nation is at, I think more people have more confidence in AP and Telesco, Josh McDaniels, Ziegler, than what this current staff has. But when you look at the last 3 games, I know the Raiders won against the Tennessee Titans, but if you actually watch that game, they could have easily, and I mean that, easily lost that football game. So outside of the worst team in the NFL, if we're talking about teams that are actually playoff caliber teams where I hope the Raiders can get to, you got your shit pushed in 40-6 against the Indianapolis Colts, and you're lucky you only lost 31-0 to the Kansas City Chiefs because they decided to bench their starters before the fourth quarter even happened. But let's look at these past 3 weeks, because these are stats that only an NFL team that is absolutely positively quit can put up. Points, it's not even close. Total yards, disgrace. First downs is laughable, and luckily you got 24 first downs against the Tennessee Titans, or else this number would be much worse. Turnovers, cool. Time of possession average, it is what it is, but I really want you to look at the points, the total yards, the first downs. This is an offense that can't get anything going, and it's an offense that looks lost. It is a defense that looks lost. It is a team that shows absolutely no heart. So with that being said, here's where I got to know from y'all. What's your confidence level in the Raiders this week? Because with a bye week, you're hoping that you make those proper adjustments. Good coaching staffs will make the adjustment. Good overall organizations will make the adjustment. And we're going to really, truly find out what type of staff we have going into this Week 9 game. Because if they lay another stinker, if you thought I was mad before, it's just going to get worse and worse. That I can guarantee you. So let me know down below. Scale it from 1 to 10. What's your confidence level in the Raiders this week? My answer is going to be coming up here after this YouTube ad break. I'll sit up here and I will go, I am a 5 on my Raiders confidence level. And that's way higher than I ever imagined I would say going into the Raiders bye week. I'm confident because you had a bye week. You got experienced coaches. Let's put some of that experience to the test and show that you're not just boomers, that we can make those proper adjustments. Let's go to storyline number 2 here. Will Jacoby Myers get traded this week? Or, will any Raiders players get traded this week? The NFL trade deadline is November 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I am recording this video on a Tuesday, and literally 1 week from today, no more trades are going to be allowed. There was a report that came out from Jordan Schultz around Jacoby Myers, and he was kind of illustrating that multiple teams have shown interest in Jacoby, final year of his contract, but then he threw out that the fact that the Raiders are looking for that day 2 pick. Day 2 pick means round 2. It means round 3. I do know that obviously Jacoby wants to get dealt. I don't think the Raiders want to move on from him because, again, you're talking their investments. Their investments, Geno, Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll, they need to make sure that those investments work. Moving off of Jacoby Myers isn't the best way to do that. But still, because the NFL trade deadline is right around the corner, because we've seen things happen and the NFL is super, super unpredictable, anything can happen. Here's what I do know, though. I hope that you guys are subscribed, and I hope that you tune in with me because I will be live. I'm not going to be live like all day next Tuesday, but I'm going to be live for several hours. Like, I think that I'm going to try to be live somewhere around 11 a.m. my time, so noon Eastern, which means that I'll be live for at least 4 to 5 hours for NFL trade deadline coverage. If you are a big-time Raiders fan, make sure you subscribe. It's going to be a lot of fun next Tuesday because deadlines make deals. And even if the Raiders don't do anything, there will be a lot of trades that happen next Tuesday. So let's keep it moving here with our storylines around the Las Vegas Raiders here because, again, you're going into Week 9. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team who also, by the way, that was a team that they also are coming off a bye. So the fact that they're also coming off a bye, the Raiders and Jags, both teams that had time to prepare. I don't want people to just think like, oh, the Raiders had the extra week. Jacksonville also had that extra week. The third storyline that I'm really looking at here is Brock Bowers, and I hope that he's healthy. I hope that he's out there on the field, and I hope that he makes a big impact. Jokingly, it's like in all honesty, like I'm crazy when I say this, but imagine if Brock Bowers was the reason why our offense has been struggling as bad as it's been, because our offense has been terrible. Brock this season, if you drafted him in fantasy, I'm sorry if I gave you that advice. I did not anticipate that he was going to have that knee injury, which really zapped his ability. And let's face it, it's been a major setback since that Week 1 game. 19 grabs, 225 yards, 0 touchdowns, that long of 38, which happened in that Week 1 football game. But to me, can Brock Bowers be reinserted in the lineup? You get the extra time to be able to prepare, to be able to scheme up for him. But, if we can get that Week 1 version from him, I'm all in. These aren't right, so it's flipped. So his Week 1 stats, he had 103 yards, 20.6 yards per catch. Yeah, these are wrong. So Brock Bowers in Week 1, he ended up having 103 receiving yards. His yards per catch was 20.6. That long was 38 yards, and his yards per target was 12.9. When he was healthy from weeks 2 to 4, he played much, much worse. And it's because he didn't have that ability to stretch the field. He didn't have the ability to make the underneath routes, and he just didn't have the ability to really stretch the field. So I personally am sitting back here hoping that with a healthy Brock Bowers, it just really opens up this entire offense. And only time is going to tell if that's the truth. But to me, yes, it's easy to talk about the Brock Bowers impact, but it's also really, really important to talk about what he does from an entire offensive standpoint. Now, I do want to give a shout out to our October Bang Race leaders. The Weldinator has been on a legendary tear, not only here at the Raiders Report over at Chat Sports, and honestly, even our Warriors show here at Chat Sports. But if you do not know, if you win the Bang Race, you get something very, very special from the Raiders Report. So, Weldinator, you're the MVP as it stands right now, and whoever bangs the most in the month of October, you're going to get something very, very special. Maybe I'll give you some Panda Subs because they are the sponsor on today's program. If there's anybody out there that's trying to be a better, healthier version of themselves, I want you to listen up, and I want you to listen up right now. Use code Raiders for 25% off at pandasups.com, and they got 3 brand new flavors here with the Sleepy 3.0. If you don't know what Sleepy 3.0 is, it's premium ingredients with transparent labeling formulated to help support sleep, quality, and daytime recovery. Tested and crafted to taste great without sacrificing effectiveness. I got citrus mango, green apple, mixed berry. It's going to help you fall asleep, stay asleep longer, promote relaxation, calm the mind at bedtime, improve sleep quality overall. To me, I have a hard time shutting off my mind, especially after a Raiders game. You take a scoop of the Sleepy, you're going to get yourself a great night's sleep. Also, since I've been doing so many late night shows, I get hungry. I want something sweet, but I don't want to eat something too late if it's midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I got home yesterday after the World Series at about 3 a.m. Guess what? I wanted some food in my belly, and Panda Sup's got this brand new, and it's freaking awesome, man. Premium protein caramel ice cream crunch with caramel cookie gem inclusions. It is a limited edition. Does anybody like Biscoff cookies? If you like Biscoff cookies, there are Biscoff cookie inclusions in this protein. So when you're drinking it, you're going to be able to also get a little bit of a crunch. It's not, I hope that this example makes sense. When you drink a Bloody Mary, I know, we're getting weird here, but when you drink a Bloody Mary, I like to chew on it. Like, I want to be able to feel the tomatoes. I want to be able to chew on that Bloody Mary. I love protein from Panda Subs because you kind of get to chew on it while you drink it, and it does really, I think, make the entire experience a lot better. So if you need some brand new workout supplements from Panda Subs, pandasups.com, code Raiders for 25% off. And if you don't believe me, believe the guy that's banged more than anybody this entire month, Weldinator, go to his Instagram. He's got multiple videos talking about how great Panda Subs really, truly is. Let's go to the 4th storyline here before the Jags game, and it's what adjustments will the Raiders make defensively with Lonnie Johnson Jr. back? He practiced on Monday, which is a great sign. He hasn't played all season long. Had a broken fibula, which happened earlier this offseason, and a lot of us were wondering, is he going to be able to go out there? Is he going to be able to play? In terms of him making an impact, though, when the Raiders went out there for that scrimmage game, you guys remember when the Raiders played against each other at Allegiant Stadium? Lonnie Johnson Jr., when he got hurt, was playing a lot of the big nickel. So they had Isaiah Pola-Mao, they had Jeremy Chin out there. They were playing Lonnie Johnson, though, in this big nickel role. I wonder what type of impact he's going to make because I want the Raiders to make adjustments in that secondary. And we need more players who are better at simply just covering. The problem is, though, that's not really what Lonnie Johnson Jr. brings to the table. He's a really good special teams player. He's going to bring the good vibes. He's going to bring that energy. But when you really turn on the tape, and I'm not sitting up here saying PFF is the end-all, be-all, but the tape does match the coverage grade here of 46.5. And, there was a reason why he was basically a bench warmer and, not a heavily used player last season on a New Orleans Saints team, which, again, was not a very good football team. Their defense was a lot better, but because of his connections with Marcus Robinson, Joe Woods, he is going to get that opportunity to go out there and make an impact. But it's not only the impact that he makes, it's the impact of what the Raiders decide to do from an overall schematic standpoint because they got to mix it up. And if they don't mix it up, I do really, really wonder what this organization is going to be doing heading forward because you got to learn how to make some adjustments. Got to make some adjustments, defense. Let's go to the 5th and final storyline here. It's going to be what type of impact will Tyler Lockett have on Geno Smith and this entire offense? The only way that I can sit up here and say that the signing of Tyler Lockett makes any sense based on where the Raiders are at as they stand right now, it's if it helps out the offense and if it helps out Geno Smith. Because this Raiders team, man, has been, boy, oh boy, hasn't been good. And when you really think about it from top to bottom, how bad that they've been, it's been a really, really big issue. And I know that Tyler Lockett and Geno Smith have that past history. And I know that they have those connections, but we haven't seen it be translated for the Las Vegas Raiders. And if Lockett goes out there and he makes this offense better, we're going to be cruising, right? We're going to be looking a lot better. We're going to be, I think, exactly where we want to be. But is that going to happen? I don't know. And when you look at the Raiders from a separation standpoint, again, I want to give credit to my guy, Tristan Kuhn. I said this stat the other day on this show, and it was just talking about Raiders wide receivers in terms of separation in the year 2025. Trey Tucker, he's 4th in the NFL right now. Jacoby Myers, 28th in the NFL. Jack Bech, Dante Thornton, they technically don't qualify because they don't have enough routes to qualify. But if we're talking about just route separation and where they rank in the NFL, Tyler Lockett is worst out of any guy that we have on our roster. Now, this is also based on what he did in Tennessee. It's also based on that offense, and maybe it looks a little bit different. But I don't want people to think that we're getting a Tyler Lockett that we saw in Seattle. You're getting a lesser version of him. You're hoping that that chemistry can result maybe in some more first downs, some bigger plays, stretching the field a little bit. But to think that we're a Tyler Lockett away from fixing this offense, I don't think that that's the case. So go down in the comments section to predict it for me. How many receiving yards will Tyler Lockett have this week up against the Jacksonville Jaguars? I think if you're somewhere around 30 to 40, probably somewhere around 4 to 5 targets is, again, in my mind, where it's going to be. But I want to know what you guys have to say. How many receiving yards for Tyler Lockett down below? I will continue to say 4, 5 targets. Probably going to be somewhere around 30, 40 yards. There will be opportunities that are had. I do wonder if they try to force feed him a little bit because of some of the Jacoby Myers trade rumors out there. If Jacoby doesn't play, this number goes up, and it will go up a little bit. But Tyler Lockett has to make Geno Smith better. Has to. That's why Tyler Lockett signing has to make sense. If Tyler Lockett doesn't make Geno Smith better, it's only going to put a larger target on Geno's back. It's only going to put a larger target on Pete Carroll, and it's only going to put a larger target on Chip Kelly's back if Tyler Lockett does not help out this offense. Now, I put out a lot of content, and I know that. You guys can also always hit me up on IG. I'm on Twitter, at MitchellRens365. I also have been getting a bunch of cameos recently. If you don't know that I got a cameo, at MitchellRens365. Those, to me, are the top 5 biggest storylines going in to the Raiders' Week 9 game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's go to Alex Gonzalez. What's up, man? Rebrand from Raider to Vegas. We need innovation.
Rebrand from the Raider way to the Vegas way.
Oh, okay.
With all the Chauncey Billups stuff, I don't know if that's what you want.
What do you mean?
Well, whenever I think of Vegas, the first thing I think of
is what? What's going on in the NBA right now?
Betting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I need the Raiders to show us that we're moving in the right direction. And that's all anybody here wants. Give me a reason to believe in this coaching staff. Give me a reason to believe in the players that you brought in. Because what we haven't seen is anything that we were hoping to see. And that is a very, very, very frustrating thing. Very frustrating thing. Caleb, I love the Oakland Raiders. Yes, forever. But, guys, we have sucked since 2003. Going back isn't going to change the higher powers in our organization. And, Caleb, I'm glad you bring this up because I've brought this up to many people where I'm like, if the Raiders were great in Oakland and then the move to Vegas and now all of a sudden they're bad, I think that argument could be made. I think people just miss Oakland and everything that it kind of stood for from more of like a fan standpoint. Check it, the tickets were cheaper, tailgates were better. We had a home field advantage and all that kind of stuff was really, really cool. Now, we don't really have any of that. And I think it also just shows that Mark cares more about the money side of it and the business side instead of the football side. And that also, doesn't sit well with a lot of people. But I'm with you, man. I mean, the Raiders have been struggling for a very long time. And I think, honestly, the move to Vegas is one of the better things that this organization has done from a monetary standpoint because players are going to want to play in Vegas way before they're going to want to play in Oakland. They're going to make more money. We're going to be able to bring in and attract more outside revenue, which then can result into being able to pay some of these players some of that cash, which Mark Davis couldn't do in the past. What's up, Machiavelli? Stinky Pete and Shit Kelly need to go. Timeline is bad. Is that what that is? Timeline is bad. I mean, Pete's not been good, and neither has Chip Kelly. And I don't need to keep hitting this one over the head over and over and over again, but all the numbers prove that. I know I kind of screwed up the script on that last one. Can you show the points allowed? Like Pete Carroll's supposed to be somebody that
I assumed you wanted that with the
that was on me. Pete Carroll's supposed to be somebody that is a defensive-minded coach, and not only is Pete Carroll, they also gave a raise, though, to Patrick Graham. I mean, look at these points allowed over the past 5 weeks. 5 weeks points allowed. That's 29.4 points per game over the last 5 weeks. And if you take out the worst team in the NFL, you're allowing 34.3 points per game. Like, in all honesty, I look at the 34.3, and I think that number is the number you got to look at way before the 29.4. Give credit to the Raiders defense in that Week 4 game against Chicago. If Geno Smith wasn't the worst quarterback on the planet that day and threw 3 interceptions,
also,
you win that football game and you don't give up that many points.
You're a block kick away.
Yeah. I mean, the Raiders are a block kick away from being a 3-4 football team instead of a 2-5 team, and that's a very, very big difference, obviously. But I also will say this, like, where the Raiders are at now and where the league's at now, like, the fact that we beat the Patriots, we're going to look back at that game and go, how the hell did that happen? Yeah, I mean, how the hell did that happen? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, based on where we are at and based on the way that we have played this season, I actually think that we should be counting our lucky stars that we're 2-5. Because I think we look way, way more like a 1-6 team than a 2-5 team. And that's the God-honest truth. What's up, Ben Thrack? I definitely understand the love for Oakland, but there was no way the team was ever going to get a new stadium or any quality out there. Change can be hard, but sometimes it is necessary. And I'm with you, Ventrack. I completely agree with this statement. I loved Oakland, man. And I know I was only out there a few times, but Oakland will always have a very, very special place in my heart. But sometimes change is necessary. And sometimes,
on your leg.
Huh?
And on your leg.
Yeah, it's on my body forever, man. And it does. Like, Oakland will always have a special place in my heart. Raider Nation will always have a special place in my heart, and that's just the way that it goes. But the move to Vegas is the best thing that this organization could have done for the long haul. If you do not know the deals that we got here on today's show, every 50 likes, we're going to give away a free raffle entry, which right now I am looking, means we have to give away 3 free raffle entries. Every $5 super chat that we get, you get 1 raffle ticket. We're going to be giving away a signed Raiders jersey on Sunday, and it can either be a Tim Brown, Max Crosby, Jack Tatum, Bo Jackson, Charles Woodson, or I don't know if I said Ken Stabler.
No, you didn't.
Tim Brown, Ken Stabler, Bo Jackson, I don't know. One of those. So it's one of those 6 jerseys. And we're going to do raffle tickets. 10, you get 3 tickets. If you want a chance to win a little bit of money today, it is a $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365, which right now I am looking. Also, random Broncos news. The Denver Broncos worked out 41-year-old tight end Mercedes Lewis. Very interesting.
Type LV if you want a free raffle ticket. You said we have how many? 4?
Got to give away 3. If you want to give away a 4th, I'm okay with it.
We're 23 likes away from giving away 4. So spam LV. I'm going to go LV XLR.
Mm-hmm. Sean Morgan, TJ Park. Right now it's a $20 Venmo. You go home with $80.
I'm going to give one to Slurricane Senpai.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give one to Victor Lobos.
My man, Victor Lobos. Shout out to all y'all. I see Austin Punk. I got Machiavelli, Ron Raspberry, Slurricane, Richard Black. Shout out to each and every one of y'all for pulling up tonight.
If you didn't join us last night, it was a marathon.
Literally. Chugs and I, we got done with Monday Night Football, Chiefs, Commanders. We went over to the other studio. Again, I think it was right around like 10:45, 11. Let's just say it was a long baseball game last night. Long baseball game last night. How many people watched our World Series coverage on Chat Sports with us last night? Let me know. Let me know down below. How many people pulled up with Chugs and I and Jack for our World Series coverage? But now, dude, the Dodgers won back-to-back games. The greatest game I've ever seen from a player in Shohei Ohtani.
Talk about not knowing what you're signing up for. Me and Mitch were like, I think you said you texted Alex earlier. I literally texted Danny. I was like, hey, I'm helping out Jack with our World Series watch party. The game's almost over. Yep. I texted her that at 11:01. I didn't leave. Mitch didn't get home till 3. I didn't leave the office till I think me and Smitty left at 1:40, 1:45.
I mean, it was late, man.
Y'all,
it was late.
Y'all were here for another like 45 minutes after we left.
I mean, we had to, clean up the studio, had to pack some things up. Jack was trying to cut up his home run call of Freddie Freeman, which wasn't happy that he said booger in the front of it, but can't pick them all. Can't pick them all.
Jack also ate a fistful of cheesecake.
Yoda Jenkins said Jack is a trooper. Yoda, I completely agree with that. Also, to my guy, Yoda Jenkins, it's not going to be this Thursday. It's not going to be this Sunday. But, Yoda, I'm going to give you a deal coming up here. It's probably going to be in November, December. I got to figure out the exact show to do it. But
wait.
Honey, I got a special show for you, Yoda.
Honey, a new Mike Nintendo Chat Sports Power Rankings just dropped.
No effing way.
Hold on.
Honey, stop everything you're doing. Put everything down. Hide under the table from Ron. I mean, I see SGD is going to go Dodgers. See a lot of Dodgers down below. Oh, wow.
Mitch,
Yoda,
you're climbing, bro.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I'm skyrocketing. The Mike Nintendo Power Rankings. This is right up there with... Is that who did the funny Power Rankings? Who did that one? Was that
the
Coop?
What?
Remember, it was like a few years ago. It was like the funniest people in the office Power Rankings.
Oh, that's Coop.
That was Coop.
Mike says Moose 1, Harrison 2, Will 3. Wow, the newbie. Will Ortner 3, Mitch 4, Trace 5, Chris. I'm guessing that's Cincy Chris.
Yep.
At 6. 7, 8 is Chugs and Rolly. 9, Joey. 10, Brett.
That's tough to do. Good job for Brett. It's been a while since he's produced or hosted. It's been a while, man. It's been a while. All right, y'all. Let's get into the next segment here on today's program. Wow, that's ass. Is he good now? You're good?
How ass have the Saints been this year?
Very, very, very ass.
Stabler.
Also, random Raiders practice squad news. The Raiders just released linebacker Brian Asamoah. He went to college at Oklahoma from the practice squad.
I know.
So they just moved on from a practice squad player, and if I had to guess what's about to happen here for the Las Vegas Raiders, because Lonnie Johnson Jr. practiced yesterday and because he was on IR, he's going to get promoted to that 53-man roster. If my guess, and this is me giving my best guess, I would say that Lonnie Johnson gets promoted to the 53-man, and then they take like Tristan McCullum and they put him on the practice squad because they're going to have to open up a practice squad spot. That's my best guess. We'll see what ends up happening. I think Lonnie gets promoted to 53. Somebody's got to be cut from the 53, and I think instead of cutting, you just put somebody on the practice squad. I think the player they're going to put on the practice squad is Tristan McCullum. Again, that's my best guess. We'll see what ends up happening. There'll probably be an announcement at some point here in a little bit. But Brian Asamoah has just been released by the Raiders practice squad. Former Oklahoma linebacker. Literally just happened. What?
They're saying that the top 10 Brett is Alper, but then he also said Titans guy 19, and that's Alper.
I don't think he
Mike's
knows.
Mike's ranking needs a massive revamp.
His producer ranking's crazy too.
Yeah, it's outlandish. All right, let's go through some super chats here. We got, I am on board with the move to Vegas, but for a new city, we need a new regime. Mark Davis needs to sell. Again, man, the problem is Mark's gonna look at it from a business standpoint. If all you've done is just increase your revenue and the money you're putting in your pocket, why would you sell that organization? Like, Mark's looking at it from his standpoint. I don't blame him, right? Like, he's looking at it as a business. That's what Mark's going to do. Ventrac, for discussion, does baseball need a way to prevent games going on forever? Something for a shout-out, soccer or hockey?
Well, the thing is, hockey,
I mean, baseball does it in the regular season.
I might be talking
They
out of
put a
my
runner on
arse
second.
here, but I'm pretty sure hockey in the playoffs does not do shootouts. Yeah, because there's this whole thing that
I think you keep playing.
There's this whole thing they've discussed in hockey in that there's like this secret rule that if it goes past 7 overtimes, there's a rule, but nobody knows it. It's like locked in a vault. Like for the playoffs. So like regular season they do shootouts. But playoff hockey, I have to look it up. Hold on.
Yoda says Chugs is right. It's locked in a vault? What do you mean?
7 OT.
I mean, 7 overtime game is crazy. I don't know, man. I'm curious. I said this yesterday, though. I said there should be a rule in the MLB where you're only allowed to intentionally walk somebody X amount of times in a game, / you shouldn't be allowed to intentionally walk somebody in extra innings.
Speaking of our MLB stream, our MLB guy, Yak Lotteray, is here.
Here.
There's a booger going to deep center. Booger!
I was able to cut that. I was very angry at the time. I was like, that ruined our walk-off call. I was able to cut it, though.
Imagine if you would have just done the jumping jacks.
Yeah. My stomach was not having that last night.
Suavemente.
What's up? How we doing?
We're
you guys coming back tonight?
We're
going to be live.
We keeping Pete and yeah, we were literally just talking about it. Also, I think everybody's saying like does the MLB need to do this or that? I think the MLB needs to review that call in the second inning, the walk and then pick off at first.
Well,
that was the ump's fault.
They need to review the ump. Well, okay. So my argument is Bo Bichette needs to be more aware because if you watch the replay, as soon as the pitch is thrown, he literally turns his back to the play. So he like turns around and he's just kind of like walking, and then he starts walking to second. He's not looking at the pitcher. He's not looking at the ump. He's not looking at the catcher. And like I know we can hear it because the ump's got a mic next to him. But like when you're in a loud stadium, and you're all the way over at first base, 90, 100 feet away. You might not be able to hear that.
He didn't call strike until I would say at least 2 seconds after the catcher already caught the ball.
But that's what I'm saying. It's
like if it's a delayed call like that, they shouldn't be able to allow to pick him off like that.
It's hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. Like,
but that was obvious.
You need to know that it's ball 4 before you actually go.
But of all indications for 3 seconds, it was ball 4.
I get it.
He had literally the guy was taking off his like shin guard.
Again, it was probably one of the worst umped games of World Series history. In all honesty, it was bad. I mean, it was a very, very bad umped game, no doubt about it.
But it's like how do you get called out whenever the ump literally screws you like that?
I said last night that everyone in the stadium thought it was a ball.
Exactly.
And the problem is though, that's actually disgusting.
I think it's like one of those where it's like the average comes back to the mean because you played so long. They're judging him for 2 games worth of.
I mean, I'll say this. I've watched a lot of World Series games in my day. As a former pitcher, as a former baseball player, it was one of the worst umping performances I have ever seen behind the dish, especially in a World Series game. And it was really bad because of how inconsistent he was. He was calling balls and strikes that were not balls and strikes, and he was just very inconsistent. And that was difficult to watch. So I want to get in here to the next segment on the program, and this is going to be around some of the latest Raiders trade rumors. And I know I've had a few people ask me, like, Mitch, like, oh, man, we keep talking about trade rumors. It's the week to talk about trade rumors, right?
Yeah.
Like, I promise you this, next week, we won't talk about them. Next Wednesday, we will not talk about
Mike Nintendo Master, I would like to let you know that all of Chat Sports right now is talking about your lists.
Correct. We put it in our Slack channel.
I don't know why he would.
I mean,
dude, Deontay Johnson is the biggest bitch I know.
Oh.
He basically came to the Texans.
It's been wild.
He came to the Texans, was there for 2.5, 3 weeks,
Chugs
and
is
then
talking about Deontay Johnson because he
complained
tried out
about-
today for the Giants.
Then complained about after a Texans win that he only got 3 targets and literally was throwing a full-on temper tantrum in the locker room and got cut right before the playoffs.
I mean, Deontay Johnson
And-
is no doubt a talented player.
And
He's just
at this point, to let you know how desperate the Texans were and how bad it was with Deontay Johnson, this was 2 weeks after Tank Dell destroyed his kneecap. Two games. He was on the team for the first game, and then obviously it was that period of where you're brand new to a squad, 6-7. And then the second game he played with the Texans, he threw a massive temper tantrum because he felt like he didn't get enough targets. And then the Texans got him. I mean, not really. No. I'd rather have little Jordan Humphrey.
Really? I mean, man, oh man, oh man. I don't know. Man, oh man, oh man. I don't know, bro.
All right. Oh, wait. Let me actually go back to Suavamentes because he actually wanted to ask you a question.
What up, Suave? We keep Pete and Chip. Okay, then, Mitch, fill the rest of the regime next off season that you would believe in as far as cohesiveness.
When did you make that?
Oh, I've had that for a while. It's when he was talking about microplastics. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the problem with Pete and Chip, fill out the rest of the regime next off season. I mean, here's the God honest truth, and this is the truth. If you keep Pete, if you keep Chip, and you keep those guys, you probably are going to keep your entire regime because you want to try to keep some cohesiveness. And that's where this is that's where this whole conversation is a fickle mistress because I don't have a lot of confidence in a lot of these guys. But at the same time, I am hoping because going into this season, I really, really thought that we would have one of the best coaching staffs in the NFL. I was really confident in our defensive guys. I was really confident in our offensive guys. I think as a Raiders fan, this question is such a hard question to answer because we're really going to find out what we think of this question. It has nothing to do with the first 8 weeks of the season. It's going to be what the Raiders do from week 9 to week 18 is 10 times more important than what happened in the first part of the season because first part of the season, you can't just keep saying, oh, we're learning the players. Oh, we need more practice. Oh, excuse after excuse after excuse. You've had your bye week. You've had the opportunity to make adjustments. And good teams and good coaching staffs make those adjustments. And if you're not good enough to be able to do it, then that tells me everything I need to know. So coming up here on the show, let's get in here to the latest Raiders trade rumors. We're going to talk about Jacoby. We're going to look at players that the Silver and Black could potentially bring in, and I'm going to talk about some of the top guys that right now are on the trade block for the Silver and Black. Ready? Ready to go. Coming up. Sorry. Let's get into the latest trade rumors around the Silver and Black. Trade rumors. That's what we're talking about today on the Raiders Report. And today's show is presented by Panda Sups. If you do not know, today, we're going to be getting into the just win babies, and we're doing this because I love being able to talk about rumors, and I love being able to dissect and let y'all know what exactly I am thinking. If you do not know what the just win baby rumor meter is, this is it exactly. If I give some 4 just win babies, it means I believe it wholeheartedly. Believe it, baby. 3, 75% chance. 2, 50% chance. 1, 25% chance. If I say it's 0 just win babies, tuck rule, tuck that. It's not going to happen. So that's really important to know because we're getting in here to these Raiders trade rumors. The first thing is, will the Las Vegas Raiders decide to trade away Jacoby Myers? Last week, I said 4 just win babies. Week before, I guess technically 2 weeks, it was 4 just win. Then it went down to 3 just win babies. Now, I'm going to sit up here. I'm going to give it 2 just win babies, and I'll keep saying it's a call in the air. Heads or tails? Let me know down below. Type H for heads. Type T for tails. Jacoby Myers wants to be dealt. He keeps making it very clear, and the Raiders know that. But even though that the Raiders know that, it sounds like this has been a conversation that honestly, it reminds me just like the one earlier in the offseason, before the season even started, where Jacoby was like, hey, I want to be traded. The Raiders said, cool, we're not going to trade you. And then there's a report that comes out from Jordan Schultz saying that the Raiders, they're looking for that day 2 pick. Because the Silver and Black are projected to get that 4th-round comp pick in the year 2027 for Jacoby, I do think that if the Silver and Black were offered that 4th-round pick, that they would potentially look at it. Because, as an organization, 4th-round pick in 2026 is better than a 4th-round comp pick in 2027, because you don't know if you're going to be around in the year 2027. It's just the God-honest truth. Do I know that Pete Carroll is going to be back next season? Yes, I definitely do. But it does take 2 to tango. It can't just be Jacoby wants to be traded, so let's trade him. The 2nd and the 3rd-round pick, that's a really tough, I think, sell for a lot of organizations and a lot of teams out there. And I don't know if there's going to be a team that wants to make that deal for Jacoby Myers. When I woke up this morning, I said, here are the top 5 teams that are the most likely to trade for Jacoby Myers. Or I guess I should say, yesterday, this was my top 5 list. The New England Patriots, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Denver Broncos, the Buffalo Bills, the New York Giants. When you look at a lot of the reports, these are the teams that have been picking up the phone, they've been calling around, and they've been very, very active. From a what has happened lately standpoint, I talked to our Steelers host yesterday after Monday Night Football, and I said, what is your 2 cents on MBS signing with the Steelers? Now, technically, this signing I actually don't think is happening until actually officially next week, but the bottom line is Pittsburgh, they got a receiver. Sperry told me he didn't think that the Steelers would be interested anymore in trading for Jacoby Myers, so when I heard that, I go, all right, probably should take him off the list. Also, the Raiders aren't going to trade with the Denver Broncos. They're not going to send Jacoby over there. I'd be shocked if it happened. So to me, the reason why I'm getting less and less confident that Jacoby's going to get traded is because I think there's less and less suitors for him. Right now, I would say the top 3 destinations for Jacoby. Number 1, the New England Patriots. Number 2, the Buffalo Bills. Number 3, the New York Giants. I probably could still say maybe the San Francisco 49ers, but I think that there is a clear top 3 interest right now in Jacoby. In terms of projected trade cost, I don't put a team here because, again, he can go to technically any team, right, that makes the deal for him. This is what I think, though, is what the Raiders would accept in a trade. And I think that they would accept this in a trade because they want that 4th-round pick. I know what's being reported. You got to think about what's being reported. The Raiders are putting that out there to Jordan Schultz that they're looking for a 2nd and a 3rd-round pick, which probably means you're not going to get a 2nd or a 3rd. You're probably going to get a 4th-round pick if a team decides to ultimately offer that up. And if a trade does end up happening, I'll say this. I already got the whole show ready. I have everything prepared for if Jacoby Myers gets traded, and I will be live on the Raiders Report. I don't care if it happens Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Jacoby Myers gets traded, I will be live for that show. Also, I'm going to be live next Tuesday. I know I always go live on Tuesdays, but I'm not going to be going live at 4 p.m. Eastern time next week. I'm going to be going live a little earlier. Let's just say noon Eastern time, unless news happens before then. Noon Eastern time here on the Raiders Report next Tuesday for the NFL trade deadline. Let's go to the next trade rumor here around the Silver and Black, and it's besides Jacoby, because I think if I were to ask this question, and I have asked this question multiple times, who's the most likely to get traded? Everybody says Jacoby Myers. So besides Jacoby, could a player on the Raiders get traded away? This one's going to be only one just win, baby. I'm going to say that there is a small shred of truth around it. There will be teams calling, and there's going to be teams picking up the phone, and I'll say this. I was talking to somebody today, and he's not featured on this list of names because I made this list of names before I had this conversation with somebody. Eric Stokes is a name that's starting to get circulated a little bit, I think, in NFL circles because of how good of a season he is having. I don't have any indication the Raiders want to move on from him. There's no indication that the Raiders want to move on from any of these players that I'm going to show you. But I do think Eric Stokes could be somebody to keep in mind if the Raiders want to try to get Darian Porter rolling here a little bit more. But I would say 5 trade candidates for the Silver and Black. Jacoby Myers at wide receiver. Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. I don't think people realize that if AOC comes back healthy, there's a chance that he could get dealt because there are teams right now calling about quarterbacks. And AOC does have some experience, and this staff is a Geno Smith, Kenny Pickett experience. They do not want AOC. Tyree Wilson, Jackson Powers-Johnson in the trenches on both sides of the football. And I'll put Max on here again. I know Mark doesn't want to trade him. Max doesn't want to be dealt. But if a team is offering you 3 first-round picks, I think you have to at least consider it. But let's talk about the 3 players on this show that I haven't really talked maybe as much about in length as some of those other names that you just saw in terms of Jacoby and Max Crosby. Out of the 3 names up here on this list, who do you think is the most likely to be dealt? Give me a 58 for JPJ. Give me a 9 for Tyree Wilson. Give me a 12 for AOC. My answer is going to be coming up here after this YouTube ad break. I will sit up here and I will go the player out of those 3 names most likely to be dealt. I'm going to say it's Jackson Powers-Johnson, and that's only because I don't think that this coaching staff likes him. I don't know what they have against him. And when I talked to Tyree Wilson over the weekend, Tyree made it sound like to me that him and his agent have had no communication whatsoever in regards to a trade. Now, some of you might roll your eyes to that statement, but I believe what Tyree Wilson has to say, and I believe everything that he tells me is exactly what he has on his mind. So I don't think that Tyree's getting shopped. Obviously, it could end up happening. If a team would, though, get him, I'd say it'd be the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go, though. Keep it rolling here on the program. And because when you think about what the Raiders have done, and if I'm only going off of actions, and I'm only going off the actions of the bye week, are the Las Vegas Raiders buyers instead of sellers at the deadline? Because going out and signing for Tyler Lockett, that's a buyer move. It's definitely not a seller move. So are the Raiders going to buy? We're going to talk about some players they can keep their eyes on and whether or not a trade ends up happening here in just a moment. But before I get into all of that, today's show is sponsored and ran by Panda Flippin' Sups. Whether you need protein, pre-workout, BCAAs, fat burner, superfoods, get some greens. I had some greens today, and I am always amazed on how much better my body feels. Especially if I'm coming down with a little bit of a cold. I'm not sick now. I felt a little bit weird yesterday. Took a scoop of the greens, and honestly, it helps out my body. I'll say this. If you're not a greens person, think of it as like it takes gas to run a car. That's like your fuel, right? Your protein. But do you put oil in your car? It's probably more important than gas. That's the greens, and that's why you should go get greens. If you have a hard time falling asleep or staying asleep, I'll recommend the Sleepy. They do have 3 fresh new flavors out there, and I will admit, I have not tried the 3 flavors yet. They are citrus mango, green apple, and mixed berry. I have had the Sleepy, though, and for somebody that has a hard time falling asleep because my mind is running 1,000,000 miles per hour every minute, having the Sleepy helps me take my mind off of it and helps me fall asleep, helps me stay asleep, and I feel like when I wake up, I am very, very well refreshed and rested. I also am somebody that has a sweet tooth, and they have a brand new Fuel Caramel Ice Cream Crunch, and it is a limited edition scoop of bliss in a shaker. Imagine vanilla laced with golden caramel swirls and packed with crunchy Biscoff cookie gems. This isn't just another protein powder. It's a creamy, crave-worthy treat that satisfies your sweet tooth. From post-workout recovery to a midday pick-me-up or a late-night dessert fix, 30 grams of protein has never tasted this amazing. Use code PANDASUPS. Use code Raiders for 25% off at pandasups.com. That link is going to be available all down in the comments. It's also going to be available all down in the description of today's show. Pandasups.com. Use code Raiders for 25% off. Let's go to the final trade rumor here on the episode, and it's, will the Raiders try to acquire a player? Will they try to make a deal? Because, again, the signing of Tyler Lockett tells me that this is an organization that believes that they should be buyers. With that being said, I am only going to give this one just win, baby, and I am not holding my breath for the Raiders to make a deal. The more and more I sit back here and I wonder, if they do make a deal, do they just try to make a minor move, right? Like, are they just trying to do a low-level move? Because that's kind of what they've done the entire year. Though, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to think about the reports and the trade rumors that are happening right now. Again, this is only one just win, baby. Raiders signed Tyler Lockett during the bye, which to me indicates that they are buyers. You got a 2-5 football team, and I know that this coaching staff wants to win, but when you look at the latest around Diana Rossini, she was really hinting that the Raiders were interested in a cornerback, very interested in a defensive lineman. So I am just going to go off of what I think that the Raiders could potentially do. And I think if they ended up making a deal, it would be for somebody in the secondary, and I think it would be for somebody on that defensive line. So what you're about to see on the program today is I'm going to break down 3 names in the secondary, and I'm going to break down 3 names on the defensive line that you could potentially go out and trade for. First name coming up here, Reek Woolen. And if this is the first time you're hearing about it, I'm Mitchell Renz, and this is the Raiders Report, because I keep talking about Reek Woolen over and over and over again. Got the connection to Pete Carroll, and because of that connection, doesn't really fit with what Seattle's doing right now, you could go out and get him. Another name, Alontae Taylor, cornerback from the New Orleans Saints. Got the connections to Joe Woods, got the connections to Marcus Robinson, our cornerback coach, and that's a guy that can do both. Can play inside, can play outside, gives you some of that physicality, and it looks like the Saints are sellers. Another name that I'm going to add here, Kyle Duggar. There are a lot, and I mean a lot of rumors. Adam Schefter reported today, I'm filming this video on Tuesday, that he is hearing a lot of rumors around Kyle Duggar potentially being released. And I am somebody that likes to say where there's smoke, there's fire. When a lot of the smoke around Jacoby Myers happened, and the exact same moment, there's a lot of smoke around Kyle Duggar. And those are 2 teams that have conversations. Those are 2 teams that have great relationship, if we're being 100% honest with ourselves. And I know we want a player that can help out our secondary. I do think Kyle Duggar would honestly help that, but it does take, again, 2 to tango. Maybe it's Kyle Duggar involved in a Jacoby Myers trade. I don't know what it is. But to me, these are the 3 most likely names that the Raiders could add to that secondary. Coming up next year, though, targets on the defensive line. And when you look at how the Raiders have operated this season, they've been a very sit-back type of team. They don't substitute a lot of players. And I think when you run heavy box and you have a low sub-package rate, some of the lowest in the NFL, you need to be able to get pressure. You need to be able to get after people with 4. And, I hate to even bring up his name, but the Raiders really, really, really are missing Christian Wilkins, because you could tell they thought that this team was going to be able to win with 4, and they're not even close to being able to win with 4. People that, I will ride and die with, Minority Gang. And I put out a video on the 27th, and the first 5 people to comment on that video, Early Riser, fits the name, RJ Van, James Lott, Lil Carpet, and Raiders Since 74. So to all of you out there, I greatly, greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all for always tuning into the show. And if you want to be featured in the program, got to subscribe, got to hit that notification bell. If you don't know what the notification bell is, it's underneath the video. It's a bell. You click that, you click all, you're ready to rock and roll. Let's go to the defensive lineman here that I think the Raiders could potentially target. Let's start with a big name, Kayvon Thibodeau. Now, it was reported by Jordan Schultz that the Giants are shopping him, or at least listening to offers. And then, because Schultz and Ian Rappaport and all the NFL Network guys got some weird beef going on, Garofalo reports and Ian Rappaport report that the Giants are not shopping him. I will admit, when I talked to Marshall Green earlier this week, he's our host of our Giants show at Chat Sports, he didn't seem very confident that the Giants would actually be entertaining offers. But one thing that I know about Pete, he wants a big outside linebacker hybrid, kind of like a Bruce Irvin role, and because he wants to try to recreate the Legion of Boom, Kayvon Thibodeau will be a name to keep in mind. Another big name, edge rusher, Jalen Phillips. And Phillips has got some relationships with some players on this team, and Phillips has got some relationships, I'll call it through the grapevine, with the Raiders. And the Raiders, with Tom Brady and that organization, very, very close. He's had some injury issues. He also played at UCLA, and I believe there was some overlap there with Chip Kelly. I don't remember exactly what the overlap was, but I believe there was at least some. So because of that relationship, makes me wonder. And then out of all of them, the one that I would say is probably the most likely, it's the cheapest name. It's Carl Granderson. No, this is not the center fielder, the former Yankee. This is a young edge rusher for the New Orleans Saints, and some teams are going to be buyers, some teams are going to be sellers. I think the New Orleans Saints will be sellers. So that is all the trade rumors that I have for you guys today on this program. And again, if any trades happen, we're going to be going live. And if you want to hang out with me next week for our NFL trade deadline coverage, I'm just going to make the announcement. We're going to be going live at noon Eastern time here on the Raiders Report. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure those notifications are turned on. All right, y'all, be real with me down below. We talked about the best Halloween candy yesterday during our Monday Night Football show. What's the worst candy to get on Halloween? Think about it. You dump out all the candy on the table. You dump it all out. What's the candy that you're, like, we all get to that point. Like, I pick out my favorites first, and you get to that. It kind of reminds me of, like, when Brett, he used to do it all the time. He used to bring in his kids' Halloween candy. And, us here at the studio, we would pick it apart. And it was always funny to see, like, what candy would be last. Like, it would always be, like, the lollipops, or I feel like it'd be, like, a random Starburst or two, or, a Whopper. I love Whoppers. But worst candy to get on Halloween. This is going to be our Tuna's Top 5. I want to see what you guys have to say. We're going to give some shout-outs here on the program. Somebody said candy corn from Richard. I mean, you're right. If somebody gave me candy corn as a Halloween candy, I don't think I'd be very happy about it. Candy corn's got to be up there. Matthew says healthy fruit snacks. Like if you got Mott's as Halloween candy.
I love fruit snacks.
See,
I'd be down
I'm not
for
a big I'm not a big fruit snack guy, so I wouldn't be as thrilled about that one. Brian says Fireball. I think I'm going to tell you this right now, Brian. If I dumped out my Halloween bag and there was a thing of Fireball in there, I'd be pretty fired up about it. Somebody said a Tootsie Roll. Tootsie Roll is probably up there for me. Tootsie Roll actually might be number 1.
Really?
For me, yeah.
We got fruit
Tootsie
snacks.
Roll? I'd be pretty
A
pissed about
toothbrush from Ron.
Do people give out toothbrushes?
Cup of noodles. Do people give out cup of noodles? I feel like candy would be cheaper.
I was just going to say, I feel like that's
Cup
so
of noodles
expensive.
is $1.
I mean, how many? I mean, unless you live in the middle of nowhere, you're like, I might get 10 kids that pull up.
Somebody said raisins or raisinets.
I remember getting raisinets as a kid. They used to come in like that little box.
Mm-hmm.
I like raisins, but that's a good one. I feel like we're talking about candy that we used to get as
bottle
kids.
caps is another one. I hated those bottle caps.
I don't mind bottle caps. They're okay. They're okay. That reminds like Fun Dip. Fun Dip was cool for like 2 dips, and then you're like, this is way too sweet, and my mouth looks like I just got raped by a Smurf.
Somebody said a Geno Smith jersey.
That's a pretty bad one. That's a pretty freaking bad one. I do feel like a lot of y'all are putting like candy down here that we used to get as kids. Like, are people still giving out Raisinets? Bottle caps? Like, I feel like it's so easy to just like go to a local grocery store, like go to a Target and get like a really, really big bag of assorted candy. Like, I feel like you'd have to go out of your way to get raisins. Like bottle caps. Any kind of lollipop. Saltwater taffy. I think it depends what saltwater taffy it is. Like, I think some saltwater taffy is delicious. Though I can actually remember when I was a kid growing up, there was a house. They used to give out fudge. It's awesome.
Ooh.
It was awesome. Now, again, where I lived, I grew up really close to the Bloomsburg Fair. Shout out to the 570. So I used to know people that would like get stuff from the Bloomsburg Fair, and then they would give it out during their Halloween parties or trick-or-treating. Fudge, awesome.
Somebody said mints. Me and Mitch were actually talking about earlier. I love the like white and green, like lime flavored mints. Those are gas. Like the key lime mints.
Yeah. See, I like spearmint. I like I like mint. Again, like I love mint. Like anything mint flavor, I'm down for. But Twizzlers, black licorice, all very, very good answers.
Here's the Tuna's Top 5. Here's my list of the top 5 worst Halloween candies. Number 5, I saw it earlier, Runts. I do not like Runts.
What are Runts?
Those are the candies, and it's shaped like the fruits. So it's like a little banana, a little...
When I think of that candy, I think of like going into... There used to be this... It's called OIP, Original Italian Pizza. 25 cents into the
and you
machine. Crank it, and it pops it. Like, when I think of Runts, that's what I think of.
Yeah,
I
don't
agree.
like them.
It's a bad candy.
I don't like them.
It's a bad candy.
Next up, this might be controversial, but I never liked it. Fun Dip.
I'm with you.
Not a fun. It's like
it was fun for a dip, and then it was not fun anymore.
After like 2
One
licks,
dip.
you're like, I'm kind of done with this.
Oh my
What
God.
is that picture?
You didn't hear?
No.
He tried. There was a show. He tried Skyline Chili and threw it up on air.
Oh.
You didn't know that?
No.
He put it in his mouth and immediately projectile vomited. Yep. We're having all these debates right now in our We're having all these debates right now
God, okay.
in our Chat Sports
this one I'm
Slack.
cheating. Popcorn ball. I don't know if anybody.
Interesting.
I don't know. If,
I would have never thought of it, but I think it's a good answer.
I don't know if it's just me or I don't know if anybody else got them, but you know what I'm talking about though, the popcorn balls.
And it was never good popcorn.
No, they always were just like stale. Yeah.
I felt like it was like the popcorn, like Wendy's chili. Wendy's chili, I hate to break it to you, is just the hamburger that they don't sell. They put it in their chili. I feel like it was like the popcorn that didn't sell at your local popcorn place or whatever movie theater, and they're like, you know what? Let's just put that into a ball and let's give that out. Popcorn ball. Okay.
Number 2, black licorice. I put it there. I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've gotten black licorice from a Halloween, like whatever. I think people got the message. Nobody wants black licorice. But the number one candy that I do not want on Halloween,
You're a hoe.
Whoppers.
You only did that because I like Whoppers.
Whoppers.
Yeah, I love Whoppers. Love them. My mom used to get, like, it actually used to look like a giant milk carton. And you would open it just like the way you would open up, like, milk when you were in elementary school. You could probably still open up the milk that way. And my mom, I mean, I'm not kidding you, dude. It was this big. Just eat them by the handfuls.
Grade my list, A, B, C, D, or
Love 'em.
F.
Jake Serb says A+ chugs. What do you guys think?
A+ from J Ray, my guy. Buckeye says a B. LV XLR says F.
You're giving me an F. Damn. That's crazy. That's actually
the
Weldinator.
crazy. Weldinator giving it an F. Weldinator, why is this an F?
Shout out to the Weldinator, the MVP of the month of October.
I see some D's, some A's, and B's as well.
Also, Joe Seppi, I see you. You, sir, are in the duck race.
I don't love Smarties either.
I agree.
Not my favorite.
Smarties are a little overrated.
Oh, see, Rated Ruby, I like Almond Joys.
I like Almond Joys as well.
Yoda says you've never heard of 3, 4, or 5? I'm surprised you've never heard of Fun Dip. I feel like that is in every Walmart, grocery store, wherever in the candy section. I feel like Fun Dip.
You know what was another one that I used to get a lot now that I'm thinking about it? What was the candy that it was like very, very bright colors and it kind of looked like and felt like a Laffy Taffy? You know what I'm talking about? It would be like a rectangle, very bright colors.
Are you talking about Airheads?
Yes.
I like Airheads. Do you not like Airheads?
That's it. Airheads, not a fan.
Oh, I like Airheads. Dude, the white Airheads, the mystery.
Like to me, like that's the candy that's going to be at the very bottom of my bucket.
Oh, no. I mess with Airheads.
Okay, I like chocolate. Like to me, the only
Why'd you say that so serious?
Chocolate.
I like chocolate.
Because I'm not like I'll eat Sour Patch Kids. That's an okay one.
Oh,
I'm not going out of my way though to get any. Like I want chocolate on Halloween and chocolate only.
See, Mitch's Whoppers is like me with dots. I don't care if half of America hates them. I'm a dots lover. If you're wondering who's keeping dots in business, it's this guy.
If you're wondering who's keeping Whoppers in business.
It's like when you always see Arby's open everywhere, and you're like, who are keeping these effing Arby's in business?
See, the one,
James.
Yeah.
It's James.
See, the one I always wonder is Mattress Firm. I've never seen a person in Mattress Firm in Dallas, and they're everywhere.
They know.
I mean, I'll say I think Mattress Firm is ran by the mob.
Baby Ruth is a candy I only eat on Halloween, but I love it every time.
I agree with that. I think Baby Ruth is sneaky good candy.
Do you like Crunch?
Yeah.
Crunch Bar?
See, to me, Crunch is the Halloween candy. I would never eat like if it's July and somebody's like, "Do you want a Crunch bar?" I'm like, I'm probably
full
good.
candy bars I would never eat. Butterfinger.
Okay.
Kit Kat. Crunch. I feel like those bars I would never get a full size of that bar. Like a mini Kit Kat.
Sure.
Yeah. Mini Butterfinger. For sure. You will never catch me with this long of a Butterfinger.
What about a Snickers?
Now, Butterfinger McFlurry or Butterfinger ice cream.
I mean, that's different. Yeah, I think you put any candy in an ice cream, and I'm in. Like, I like M&Ms, but plain M&Ms, again, I think they're a little overrated. They're fine. Plain M&Ms and ice cream, I'm in. All right, y'all. I have a question to ask each and every one of y'all. Do you want to get into the next segment? We do have 376 people here watching this show. I'll say this. I just got a text from Alex, and Alex is asking me if I can get home just a little bit earlier than I originally anticipated. So, are you guys okay with us doing the duck race right now? That way I can get out of here a little bit earlier to help out Chuck. And I hate to do that, and I feel kind of lame for doing it, but also at the same time, I was here until like 3 a.m. yesterday covering the World Series, and I know that's not Raiders, and that doesn't impact all of y'all. But I always try to be very, very honest and always transparent. And Alex is one of the she's the best in the biz in terms of like letting shit go by. But she just asked me if I could try to get home a little bit earlier to help her out with Chuck. Are you guys okay with that? Like
I'm seeing all yeses.
Is that okay? Like again, I know I'm always here for the nation, and I know that we've had a really, really awesome whole relationship here. But at the same time, are we cool? Are we cool with that? I'm sorry. Ron says, go enjoy Alex and Chuck. Well, Alex has to go work, so I won't see Alex until like 9:30 tonight. It's really just taking care of Chuck, and because she held down the fort yesterday, because Chucks and I thought the World Series game would end in 9 innings and not 18. So I got to be a good husband today, and I think I got to go help her out there. So we're gonna run the duck race. It's gonna be the last call for you to get in. $20 Venmo. At Mitchell Renz 365. Here, let me just text her real quick. Hang on. Okay. Ron, you're a legend, bro. You already know that, brother. You're a legend. And to all y'all out there saying yes, and I say this, like I greatly, greatly appreciate y'all because I know you're not just watching this show for Raiders. I know it's the main reason why you watch, but I also know you're watching because you love Chugs and I. You have our back, and that does mean a lot to me. So, does mean a lot to me. All right, final call to get in. $20 duck race. Right now you have an opportunity to win $90 here on today's show. And I am looking right now. Oh, wait. We have an extra contestant. We have an extra contestant. Craziness. Craziness, craziness, craziness. Final chance for you to get in. Final chance for you to get in. $20 Venmo. You're going to go home with $100 here on the program. And I don't know if y'all remember this or not. When I showed you earlier the Bang MVP list for the month of October, we're going to have to change it up a little bit. We're going to have to change it up a little bit because, real quick, October Bang race. Right now, the Weldonators in first place with 16. Isaac Hernandez with Isaac. I've actually been trying to get a hold of you, man. I've been trying to send you your winnings for being the MVP a few weeks ago. Wild one. Yoda, Co-Butter, all at 8. Guess what, though? This actually has to turn into a 17. The Weldonator! Bang! Get out, ball! The Weldonator! He's just on a legendary tear right now. Dude is on an absolute legendary tear right now. Another Weldonator bang, dude. Weldonator, you're a freaking legend, my man. I mean it when I say it, you're a freaking legend. Thursday night football. Make sure you're there. Wait until you see what the Weldonator is going to make me wear. Wait until you see what I have to wear from the Weldonator. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
All right. Last check for getting in the duck race.
Rustin Long, you in. Rustin Long, you in. And again, I did plan on doing that third segment. I'm sorry. I just want to get home for Alex. She needs me to help her out with Chuck. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for understanding. And again, proving to me that you have my back. That does really, really mean a lot to me. So, winner's going to go home with $110 here on the program. And if the Weldinator bangs 2 more times on Venmo, I will start off Thursday night show with a boot. I'll tell you this, Weldinator. I'll do this deal every Tuesday for the whole year if you want to do it. I'm freaking in. 3, 2, 1. Let's run it. Let's rock today. Winner gonna go home with $110 here on the program. Jake Serb, Terry Parkinson, miss y'all. Miss y'all. Ron. I know, dude. I know. I mean, it's just, you guys probably say sorry to me. You know, it's just like, I'm the type of person, when I say I'm going to do something, it bothers me when I don't. You know, like yesterday, that World Series game is the perfect example of it. Told Jack, I'll be there for the whole game. I was like, I don't want to, like, leave, you know. Like, I'm the type of person, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So when I started off this show saying, hey, let's do 3 segments, you know, me, mentally, it's a mental hurdle. I know. But, again, I'm always going to be honest. Weldinator! Right now, with a little bit of a lead here. Watch out for Chadwick. 7 seconds to go. Javier Gomez. Soldier Man. Chadwick. It's going to be Chadwick. It's going to be Chadwick. It's going to be Chadwick. Shout out to Chadwick Howard, which it's a really cute dog in that photo. Chadwick. If you could please confirm to everybody down below that you just received $110, that would be much, much appreciated. All right, y'all. I love each and every one of y'all. I mean it when I say it. To John Rodriguez, wifey comes first. You're right. Happy wife, happy life. She held down the fort yesterday, and I'm sure Danny did the same thing with Chugs at home. I got to actually be able to get home here to take care of Chucks to help her out because she's got to get ready to go to work. So from me, from Jeremy Chugs, for the entire Chat Sports team, I'll see you guys on Thursday. Wait until you see what I got to dress up as. It's going to be Halloween theme. We're going to be giving away an awesome prize on Thursday, and we're going to be giving away an awesome, awesome prize on Sunday. Let's go Raiders. Let's get the momentum going back here. Appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning in. I'll see you guys Thursday night.